It's Thursday, January 23rd, and time for your Barbados Today morning news update. Our top story at this hour: moves are reportedly afoot to oust Sean Spencer as the president of the Barbados Union of Teachers. Barbados Today understands that union officials are now in possession of a letter containing the 20 signatures needed to initiate the process. The document was reportedly delivered at the BUT's Welch's St. Michael headquarters around 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Our Kareem Smith has more.
In mid-December, the BUT's former public relations officer, Dwayne Goddard, demanded Spencer's resignation, accusing him of failing to represent the collective interests of teachers. At that time, he was hoping to have the signatures presented before the end of the year. This, however, took longer than anticipated because persons were busy over the Christmas period, making it more difficult for members to connect. But according to sources close to the situation, the process was further stalled by scores of disgruntled members who remain, quote, too afraid to speak out. When contacted, General Secretary Herbert Gittins indicated he was out of office for the entire day on Wednesday, but was informed that the letter and signatures had been presented. Incidentally, the union's monthly executive meeting is slated for Thursday, during which the body's top brass would be able to examine and determine a date at which a general meeting and a vote on Spencer's leadership can occur. Kareem Smith for Barbados Today.
In other news, plans are in the works for the construction of a new state-owned geriatric hospital and the demolition of the existing Beccles Road St. Michael facility. Not only that, Minister of Health and Wellness, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, is also eyeing the possibility of constructing a facility to house elderly tourists and expatriates. Minister Bostic made the comments following a presentation at the Jama Mosque at Kensington New Road, the city, yesterday.
There is a plan to do so, yes. I cannot give you the details of that because those are with the Ministry of Finance, Economic Affairs and Investment. But yes, there is a plan to build a new geriatric hospital. That is a fact, yes. No, I cannot give any details at this stage, but it is something that as Minister of Health and Wellness I'm looking forward to. And why you say that? Because I believe that we have not really utilized what the Lord has given us to full effect. Meaning, we have an aging population. Per capita, only Okinawa in Japan has more centenarians than Barbados. We have an excellent climate. We are a tourist destination of choice, tourism destination of choice. So it seems to me as though we ought to invest in our elderly care facilities to make Barbados a hub for elderly tourists and for persons who want to rehabilitate.
The minister also wants to see the construction of a rehabilitation center to treat the growing number of patients with non-communicable diseases.
And this country needs a national rehabilitation center, especially with the amount of stroke victims that we have, accident victims.
Let's not forget the diabetics.
And diabetics, exactly. And we do not have the capacity at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital or any of our institutions to be able to fully handle this development.
Men in Barbados are being encouraged to take the issue of colon cancer more seriously and get screened for the disease. It's coming from colon cancer survivor Graham Bannister, who also believes there is a need for more education on the issue. He also wants government and the insurance companies to do more to assist the less fortunate, given the hefty financial cost of the screening process.
I have to say that I find in Barbados we need to have more education about it. But the biggest issue is the provision of medical services for persons to get colonoscopies. They're not cheap, right? I was fortunate that I have insurance through the company that I'm working in. So the insurance was able to cover a majority of my bills, but still my existing bills that I had to pay were still quite pricey. But to get screening, you need to have that commitment from government and probably commitment from insurance companies that we will cover you. We need to have a clinic coverage. In other words, you should be able to go to any clinic you want to and say, I'm here to do a colonoscopy, and an insurance company will cover you.
Bannister's vision is to set up a foundation to assist individuals who wish to get tested.
But it is my goal also to form a foundation that will source funds not for me, but funds to be there and managed by a group of prominent businessmen, and ask them if they will come in and be there to monitor the movement of funds. And if somebody needs to have a colonoscopy but they don't have the funds, the foundation will assist them. Again, I'm a member of Cancer Support Services, and Cancer Support Services does what they can. But again, they have limited funding. So everybody in Barbados who wants to can become a member of Cancer Support Services. It doesn't cost much, but then you can lend assistance in other ways.
A registered nurse is this year's recipient of the Arnott Cato Foundation, a City of Bridgetown Cooperative Credit Union Limited Scholarship. Tamisha Hunt was awarded the $5,000 fund, which will assist her tuition costs to complete the one-year intensive Masters in Public Health program at the University of the West Indies. An emotional Hunt says the scholarship offers her the opportunity to pursue her educational endeavors.
This unexpected blessing of $5,000 could not have come at a better time. And I thank my friend for encouraging me to apply for this scholarship. The day I found out that I was awarded this scholarship, I immediately felt like a weight was lifted and there was a rainbow in the midst of an internal storm. Throughout my educational journey, I have worked hard to pay my tuition and other academic expenses. My familial experiences have taught me to value education, be self-motivated, and be independent. Thus, my hesitance to apply initially was due to fear of being rejected. This experience has taught me that when opportunities arise, I should face my fears and let them be the beginning of great achievements. This Master's in Public Health is critical to my field of work and will help me fulfill my dream of working in the field of research.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from our regional neighbors now, Grenada's Maurice Bishop International Airport was briefly closed on Wednesday after a JetBlue aircraft made an emergency landing soon after takeoff due to a failure in one of its engines. The flight 950 was bound for New York with 75 passengers on board. We get more in this report from GBN News.
According to reports reaching GBN, the Maurice Bishop International Airport went into full emergency response mode after receiving a distress call of what some employees say was fire to one of the engines of the plane. As a result, the plane returned to the airport. Airport officials are engaged in briefings, and GBN was told that a press release will be issued. However, up to news time, no release was received. GBN was, however, informed by an official that the JetBlue plane was carrying approximately 75 passengers destined to New York, and all passengers disembarked safely.
And finally, UN Chief Antonio Guterres has been laying his priorities for the year ahead, and he has identified 4 areas which endanger progress in the 21st century. Addressing the General Assembly on Wednesday, he said those areas, which he described as the 4 horsemen, include epic geopolitical tensions, the climate crisis, global mistrust, and the downsides of technology. He said as the UN celebrates its 75th anniversary, nice speeches just won't do, as those challenges must be addressed with 21st century solutions.
So let us make the 2020s the decade of action, and let us make 2020 the year of urgency. And as we do so, let us spare no effort to rebuild trust. I make a special appeal to all member states. Listen to people. Open new channels for all to be heard and find common ground. Respect freedom of peaceful assembly and expression. Protect civic space and freedom of the press. And let us harness the ideas and energy and sense of hope of young people, in particular young women, demanding change and constructive solutions.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.